Madhya Pradesh, Narsinghpur, 14 November 1923, 2:17 in the night. In the narrow lanes of an old colony situated near Narsinghpur Road, the darkness of that night felt strangely different. The street lights were flickering, as if they themselves were frightened. There was wind, but mixed within it was a smell that reminded one of decay and old ashes. That night, another person died in that colony, the third one. And just before dying, he too had looked back. Welcome everyone to another new episode of our channel's The Horror Talk series. But before the story begins, there is a small request to all of you. If you enjoy such horror videos, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like the video, and definitely comment to let us know your opinion about these kinds of horror videos. Watch this entire episode carefully, and you will understand the whole case. This story belongs to a town that the world knows only as the name of a district. But some people of that district know that in certain lanes there roams something after nightfall. Something that has no name, no religion, no mercy. It has only one purpose: to steal shadows. And once a shadow is gone, a person's end becomes certain. Raghav was a crime journalist. He arrived in Narsinghpur when the news of the first two deaths had not even been published in any newspaper. He liked stories that remained locked inside police files, the ones the system suppressed, the ones people never talked about. He was not superstitious, but what he saw that night in the police station's CCTV footage shook all his logic in an instant. At exactly 2:17, a man was seen walking on the road. Suddenly, he stopped. Then he looked back. Then he started running. And then something invisible pounced on his shoulder, and the camera turned black, permanently.
That same day, an old woman came to the police station. Her name was Shakila. There was fear in her eyes, but even deeper than that was exhaustion. The kind of exhaustion that comes when someone has known the truth for too long and no one listens. Shakila said that the thing behind these deaths was not human. It always attacked from behind. Its voice sounded like that of an innocent child. Its height was barely 1.5 feet, but its strength was greater than 100 humans. Its entire body was black like coal, half its face burnt and deformed, and its eyes had no pupils, only a deep, empty, endless blackness. Sometimes before it arrives, the faint sound of anklets can be heard in the air. And if it once catches someone's shadow, that person slowly begins to perish. Shakila gave only one warning: if you hear a voice from behind, never turn back.
Raghav looked into Shakila's eyes. The pain in them could not have been a lie. That very night, he went alone into that lane. 2 in the night. The roads were empty. The air was still. And then, a child's voice came from behind him. Innocent, thin, chilling. Raghav stopped. His heart was pounding loudly. He remembered Shakila's warning, but the journalist's mind was fighting against it, and he turned around. In the dim light, what he saw was 1.5 feet tall. The body was crooked and deformed. Half the face was burnt. The eyes were completely black, and it was smiling. The very next moment, it leapt from the ground and landed directly on Raghav's chest. Raghav fell to the ground. His breathing began to stop. That thing was trying to grab his shadow. At that moment, Raghav pulled out an iron key from his pocket and struck it. The moment iron touched it, it let out a horrifying scream, moved back, and disappeared. But along with it, Raghav's shadow also vanished. When Shakila revealed the complete truth, it was not merely a ghost story. It was a planned conspiracy. A powerful builder from Narsinghpur had intentionally summoned that entity with the help of a tantric. The motive was to spread so much fear among the people that the entire colony would be abandoned, allowing the builder to buy the land at extremely cheap prices. Making Raghav a target was also part of the same plan, so that the death of a journalist would spread the story faster and deepen the fear. Shakila's husband was the first victim of that entity. A Maulvi had told them the truth, but on the builder's orders, that Maulvi was also killed. But now the danger was no longer outside, it was inside. The 1.5-footer never kills directly. It looks for a permanent home, and Raghav was becoming its next home. Raghav's body started moving on its own. His hands began twisting in unnatural ways. His voice became heavy and hollow. A stench like an old grave began coming from his body. When he looked into the mirror, his own face was missing from every broken piece. In every shard, there was only the burnt face of the 1.5-footer, smiling. When Raghav stopped on the road at night, his shadow was no longer on the ground. It was on the wall, standing upright like a 3-year-old child. And that shadow slowly began to raise its hand. And truly, Raghav started choking. Shakila had told one more thing. It was born of fire and smoke. To destroy it, one would have to burn oneself. Raghav staggered toward an abandoned old leather factory located on the outskirts of the city. When he reached there, he saw the same builder and the same tantric sitting beside a burning Havan Kund. They believed their work was complete. But the 1.5-footer was nobody's slave, neither of the one who summoned it nor of the one who sheltered it. It was inside Raghav's body, and it grabbed the tantric by the throat. Fire spread throughout the entire factory. Inside Raghav's body, a final battle began. On one side, the last remaining consciousness of a journalist, and on the other, that horrifying black entity. Raghav's eyes fell upon an open acid tank lying nearby. He gathered every bit of strength he had left. He lifted the burning fire from the Havan Kund, and he set himself ablaze. Flames spread across his entire body. From within came a scream that was not human. The 1.5-footer was trying to escape from his body. But Raghav tightly wrapped an iron chain around his hands so that he could bind that black smoke with himself forever. And then a massive explosion occurred that shook the entire factory to its foundation. The next morning, the police found nothing there except burnt devastation. Neither Raghav's body nor the builder's. The case was closed as a gas leakage accident. Several months later, peace returned once again to that colony of Narsinghpur. But that peace was false, because once something becomes free, it never truly ends. One night, a new watchman arrived there for duty. Suddenly, he heard a thin, innocent voice from behind him. He immediately turned around. There was nothing there. But what the watchman did not know was what the CCTV camera behind him had recorded. Behind him, there was a 1.5-foot-long shadow, slowly waving its hand. Raghav was gone, but the 1.5-footer was still alive. Now it had no owner, no chains, no shelter. It was completely free, and it still roams those lanes. The narrow, dark, deserted lanes of Narsinghpur. That is why, if you ever hear a voice from behind in the darkness of night, never turn back. Today's episode ends here. We will meet again next week with a new story and a new episode. Until then, thank you for today.